What's up, guys? Eric here with driverlineup.com, world's okayest steering wheel holder. I am excited to be back making another video. It's been a couple days. At my old age, my ripe old age of 41, I cannot handle drinking the way I used to could. I actually quit drinking for a few years. When I came to Prime, I hadn't had a drink in years. And then when I upgraded, I wanted to celebrate. So I've drank a couple times. You guys know on YouTube here that sometimes when I come home, there's other YouTubers around or other Prime drivers around. We'll, tie one on. And that happened the other night with a couple of our driver friends. And it took me out for the count yesterday, man. I can't do it. I can't do it like I used to could. So I meant to do a video yesterday morning. Didn't get to because I was out of commission. Anyway, I just came out of Prime because I finally ordered my diamond ring, my PTC ring with Prime, which I've needed to do for some time, and just got around to it today. So that was a good feeling. I think Junior Honduras posted recently that that's one of his biggest accomplishments, and he had a picture of his diamond ring. When you hit 2 years of perfect PTC, prime time certified, meaning you've been on time, never been late with a load, getting to or dropping off a load. After 2 years, you get a ring with a diamond in it, and then they add a diamond like every year or 2 years after that. I'm not sure, a smaller diamond or something. And that's a pretty, I don't really wear jewelry and stuff, but I think that's a really cool thing. It made me, not that I really need things to make me feel good all the time, but it made me feel good. It made me feel like that. It made it feel like that is a big accomplishment to go 2 years with Prime, running Prime as a team, Prime Freight, and being Prime Time certified for that since I've been driving a truck. So that was really cool to finally go place the order. They said it'd be like 6 to 8 weeks for the ring to actually get here. I had to be sized for it. They put my initials on it, all that good stuff. So that was pretty cool. So today's video may be a downer for some of you. All my videos are not uppers. Longtime subscribers know that sometimes I've got great news to report. Sometimes it's all happy, hunky-dory. Sometimes it's not great news. And that's the reality, man. It's, there's a lot of good things going on in this world, and there's a lot of bad things going on in this world. And today I'm going to touch on a question that I've seen a couple times in comments. I saw it on the Driver Lineup social app this morning in a comment thread, and then I got a text this morning asking me about it. Now, I'm not an economist, so I'm just going to refer to what the professionals are saying, and it is indisputable. Is inflation on the horizon? Guys, not only is it on the horizon, inflation's been in the works for for months, if not a year now. And hyperinflation is on the horizon right now, and it's terrifying. I'm just going to be totally honest with you. I'm not going to try to you can't put lipstick on this pig. And this is not something that I just looked into today. Jen and I talk about this a lot. We've actually had conversations about this very topic several times in the last week, you guys. We've been purchasing some things based on what is inevitable, what's coming. And the scary thing is, and I'm looking at my other phone so that I can show you guys. I don't want to show you, but I'm going to read to you. I'll link to some of this stuff too when I get home here in the next day or two. So you might have to come back to this video to find the links down below the description. But don't take my word for it. Because again, I'm not an economist. Now, I do pay close attention to this stuff. Very close attention to this stuff. I listen to several podcasts by economists throughout the week while I'm driving, and I don't go to mainstream media. Mainstream media is just lying to everybody. It doesn't matter if it's CNN or Fox News or left or right or independent, middle, you name it. It's all just a big lie. You got to really get down into who's saying what, from the source's mouth, where you can try to gain a little bit of an understanding and just the reality out here in the world. That's where I base more of my ideas of what's going on around us, is what's going on out here in the world, not what some douchebag in Washington D.C. is trying to tell us, or someone who gets paid $3, $5, $10 million a year to sit behind a desk, and they get paid by the very companies that they're advocating for or against. So anyway, rant off. So first of all, I'm going to start out with hyperinflation. Now, hyperinflation used to be a no. That used to be a no word. You do not say hyperinflation. You used to get laughed off the internet and trolled into oblivion if you dared to mention hyperinflation online. I mean, this was like a year ago. If you mentioned hyperinflation, like you were fringe, how dare you? Well, the B of A, the Bank of America, okay? Bank of America, CEO, Bank of America, are literally saying, hey, this is now time for hyperinflation, okay? This is not, and the federal chair, I think, of the New York Fed, which, by the way, for those of you guys who don't know, the federal bank is not government. The federal bank is a private entity that's ran by like 5 big banks. You hear Federal Reserve or Federal Bank, Federal Reserve, you think, oh, that's a federal agency. Good for them. No, Federal Reserve is not a government agency. It is private, run by like the 5 biggest banks. Federal Reserve is saying hyperinflation is here. Look this up. B of A, hyperinflation. Bank of America, hyperinflation. Look it up. Don't just take my word for it. But the Bank of America said, quote, and this is during the latest earnings call, quote, buckle up, inflation is here, unquote. And the B of A's Safida Sabramian, which is an executive at B of A, I'm probably butchering that name, mentioned that the mentions of the word inflation online, blogs, economist blogs, social media, etc., have increased 800% versus this time last year. Remember what I said a year ago, you could not mention hyperinflation. Now, inflation, hyperinflation is being talked about online 800% more than it was last year. Again, this is Bank of America. This is not just some random truck driver doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm just telling you what they're saying. They go on to say, inflation, this is the title of an article that I was reading through because of the Bank of America earnings call. The title is Inflation Trends Running Hot as Margins Hit Record Highs. In this article, and you can just search that title, they actually use the phrase transitory hyperinflation is ahead. Hyperinflation. Now, they call it transitory to try and sugarcoat it and say, it may just be here for a little. It's not a big deal because it's transitory. But they're saying hyperinflation is coming. That's terrifying, you guys, because hyperinflation is not like 5%. Hyperinflation, you're looking at 30, 40, 50, 60% inflation. Now this, from the UNFAO, this is the Global Food Price Index, and this is what I really want to get drilled down into, because the questions have been, are rates increasing because of inflation? The answer to that, I don't know. Rates are increasing. I went back and looked at mine this morning because I'm doing taxes right now. So I've been going through all my settlements and everything for the last 2 years, which I did taxes a year before, but I pulled up last year's settlements, or not last year, it would have been 19, just for kicks. And my rates between last year, which would have been 2020, and 2019 were pretty similar. Our average rate per mile was like $1.60. Okay, this year our average rate per mile is $2. So what is that, like 20%? A 20% increase in our average rate per mile, right? Something like that. Anyway, someone can tell. I'm not good at math. Someone can tell me down below. Anyway, it's a substantial increase in our rate per mile average for the year to date, 2021 year to date, versus this time last year, year to date, and the year before, year to date, right? So it's a substantial increase in rates. I don't know if that's due to inflation. I don't know. I don't see the demand for capacity and the freight demand being enough on its own to justify those increase of rates. That I don't see. So I think there's other variables at play. I don't know what they are. And I'm not going to pretend that I know what they are. Anyway, this UNFAO Global Food Price Index, and this is from May 6th, showed that the global food price index rose for an 11th month straight in April to a 7-year high of 120.9, representing, here's where it's important, representing a year-over-year jump of 30.7% in food prices. Food inflation has not risen this fast since 2011, with the sectors rising, led by sugar and oils. Okay, 31% in 1 year, you guys. Holy shit. And this number came out at right about the same time that the B of A and a Federal Reserve are saying expect hyperinflation to happen soon. In other words, they're saying what is happening right now is nothing compared to what's coming. Now, I can't find the article, but there was another one by an economist who was talking about how his expectation based on the data he's seen is that food prices year over year are going to increase by 60% during hyperinflation. What that means is when you go here soon, according to what all these people are saying, not me, I'm just relaying this to you. Here soon, you take $100 into a grocery store and it's only going to buy you $40 worth of groceries. Think about that, guys. That's terrifying. And another piece that I want to bring up is home prices, specifically rents. Let me find this. Here it is. American Homes for Rent, which is the largest single landlord, I believe. They own 54,000 houses that they rent out across the country. They announced in April that they're increasing rent on all 54,000 properties by 11%. Now, I don't know about you guys. Now, we're seeing the increase in rates, so I'm grateful for that, because it seems that at least on the lease and owner-operator side, that rates are increasing somewhat comparable to inflation. So while we're seeing an increase in rates, we don't really feel like we have a lot more to spend because the price of everything is skyrocketing. Where I think this is probably a lot more painful is if you are on a per mile, if you're a company driver, or if you're per hour, or if you're salaried. So in other words, if you make $10, $20, $30 per hour, are you seeing your per hour pay increase by 30%? Because that's how much food is increased. Are you seeing your pay increase by 11%? Because that's how much rent is going to increase. That's how much home prices are increasing. I think that this spells disaster, you guys. The price of fuel is going up. Now you might ask, well, how has this happened? Well, the way it's happened is I just want to drop an F-bomb. We've spent damn near $20 trillion this year on new stuff, not existing budgets, new stuff. You guys know that the entire economy is like less than $10 trillion. The entire economy, everything, the entire economic engine is like less than $10 trillion. We've spent more than the entire economy generates this year. And they're not borrowing that money. There's no one buying a check. They're printing it. I think it would be close to 20 trillion if they pass the ridiculous transportation bill, which does nothing for transportation. It does nothing for you and I. It does a lot of things for the people that are winning through all this bailout stuff. But if that passes, I believe it pushes it right up to $20 trillion in new funding that they've spent this year. So they're just printing the money. It didn't already exist. It was created, printing new money. Well, what do you, it's inevitable that hyperinflation is going to occur when you pump nearly $20 trillion into the economy. That means all that extra money is out there. If you, it would be like, you know, taking the money from 2 Monopoly games and using it on 1 Monopoly game. You know, the bank, it's not realistic. It's like diluting shares of a corporation. Your dollar, every new dollar that's printed, if a dollar is not taken out of circulation, the dollar you have becomes worth less. And eventually worthless. So, you know, it's crazy. It's just crazy. And we all just go along with this, you know. So yeah, in answer to the question, yes, I do believe hyperinflation is not just coming, like it has began, it's here. Hyperinflation is here. I don't know how this affects the trucking industry. I don't know how it affects rates. Maybe it has nothing to do with rates. Maybe it has a lot to do with rates going up. I don't know. I think that if you're paid where rates fluctuate so much, like lease drivers are, maybe we're feeling it less because it seems like the rates are increasing with the pace, or similar to the pace of inflation, which again means we don't have more buying power. It just means we're not feeling it maybe quite as much, although I feel it. Again, you go into a grocery store right now, at a 31% increase in the price of food, if you go into a grocery store right now, $100 will only buy you, what, $70 worth of food as compared to like 1 year ago. And it looks like with hyperinflation here in the next few months or fall of this year, maybe sooner, maybe later, $100 is only going to buy you $40 worth of food. It's terrifying, you guys. So I'm not trying to be like a fearmonger. I'm not trying to spook you guys. It just is what it is, man. Inflation is real. And, you know, I don't really have any advice to give anybody. I'll just tell you that if there are things you can buy now, you know, just simple things like shampoo. You know, I'm not saying go hoard and buy pallets of shit. I'm just saying, like, you can buy a few little things here and there now, then you will save money, because everything is going to become more expensive this year. And I don't know how long that lasts. But there's too much money pumped into the economy right now. And as it works, as it tentacles its way into every facet of the economy, it is going to decrease the value of every dollar you have. It's inevitable. How that relates to trucking, again, I don't know. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I don't know. I think it is affecting the trucking industry. I think it is having some effect on rates. I think it's definitely going to hurt people that are on hourly wages or fixed incomes. You know, because I just don't, I don't see all the employers out there saying, hey, you make $10 an hour right now. Well, inflation just pushed the dollar down by 60%. So why don't we just pay you $16 per hour tomorrow? Come on, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So, creepy stuff. I don't know, you guys. I'd love to know your opinion. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Tell me, are you doing anything to try and prepare a little bit for it? I'd be interested to know where you guys stand on it. Again, I'm not trying to cause any panic or anything. I'm seeing this question a lot. And when it gets texted to me, Jen and I have been talking about it for last week. I'm seeing it on our own social platform. I'm seeing it in YouTube comments. Clearly, a lot of you guys are starting to talk about it, and I just wanted to address the question. I don't have a big answer for you, but that's my answer. Yes, I'm well aware of it, and things could get a little rough. It is what it is. Life's a trip. All right, guys, be safe, make good decisions. As always, drive and thrive. Talk to you soon.